Hello and welcome to Pop and Scott Talk Baseball. How you doing today, Dad?
Oh, I'm tired because we had a long week with the camp at church with the kids, 250 kids, and I had 22 third graders I taught all week and helped out with Legos and board games. Kids like to play with me because I always lose. So anyway, and then our air conditioner, it never went off, but it was acting up. So we finally had to get a new thermostat put on Friday.
Well, I'm glad, I'm glad y'all did it because it's hot now. So
it's going to be toast.
Yeah.
Well, it's summertime finally.
Yeah. It was just muggy after all that rain here. I don't know how it was there. It was like almost breathtaking.
Yeah, well, it's not. We got a real good shower this morning, but we're supposed to get some big time stuff this evening.
Right. Yeah, so another fun week of baseball. Wearing my Mets stuff. It's good to play the Rockies before and after the Dodgers. So
and the Dodgers weren't playing that well.
Yeah, I was looking at records, and I'm sure we'll go at it. You'll go over them later. But yeah, my Mets are playing real well, and without still two of their pitchers, and and we finally the kid that we've been waiting on for over a year is healthy and hit his first home run yesterday, Ronnie Mauricio. So I think that's our future right there. So really excited.
Well, my Nats looked real good the other night against Texas. Game took 2 hours and 20 minutes to play. 2-0. Washington won 2-0, and it was a great crisp. It was what I call a crisp game. Good defensive plays and all that. Good pitching, and then they ran into DeGrom last night. And DeGrom, I'm talking that Saturday evening. DeGrom pitched 7 innings, struck out 8, and allowed 2 hits. I mean,
right. He looks like DeGrom of old. And I'm happy for that. I've always been a DeGrom fan. I knew when he got hurt, that was the end of him with the Mets. I'm glad he's healthy again and pitching well. But back to the Nats, there is talk of Mackenzie Gore, early talk of him being Cy Young talk of him.
Well, there is. If he was in the American League, he wouldn't have a chance because Struvel's pitching in the American League. But in the National League, it's wide open. It looks like right now. Mm-hmm. And Gore is leading strikeouts. I mean, he's just.
I heard he pitched it was less than a 2-hour game the other night, or right at.
Oh, that was a 2-hour and 20-minute game.
Yeah.
And he pitched 7 innings. Yeah, 7 innings. Yeah. I mean, it was an outstanding. See, you talk about watching baseball. I've been watching. I had that camp all week. Then when I get home, I was watching girls softball. I was watching baseball. I was watching WNBA. I was trying to watch the College World Series because in the regionals in the college, all number 1 teams were getting knocked off left and right. Now, in the super regionals teams, if they get to the finals, if they get to the World Series, look out for North Carolina.
Right.
North Carolina, the 2 teams that have really looked good to me in the playoffs, and I call them playoffs, I don't know what else, the regionals and the super regionals. The 2 teams that looked real good to me are North Carolina and Arkansas. And
I like Coastal too, but
Coastal Carolina is good. Yeah, they're good too. But I mean, it's going to be I mean, Texas has been knocked out. Texas A&M didn't make it. A lot of the good teams didn't make it.
Well, I mean, if you could beat their number 1, you jump. Really, that gives you a great, in that 3-game super regional, because that really helps.
Yeah, I picked Texas to win the softball, and they did. So.
Yeah, and the I don't know if you saw, but yesterday, or we're taping this on Sunday, as y'all know. They started the Major League softball.
Oh yeah, I've got something on that.
Okay, and it was sold out crowds and great turnout.
It was in 2 places, and they were both sold out. And they had. I saw a couple of pictures. I saw a couple of innings yesterday, but I was watching the Volts were playing somebody. But they had kids all over the place dressed in softball and little league
Well, that it seems like that. Some of these people that get paid to talk about sports. In women's basketball, it's about the family, and it looks like that's what's going to be about women's softball because it's so family. Especially, if the kids sit there and see women doing that, and they're, hey, mom, look, I mean, it's awesome.
Well, yesterday, the last night, your stepmom and I've gotten her hooked on the Indiana Fever, and we were watching.
Yeah. She loves
a little bit of the Fever playing Chicago last night, and the place was packed.
Mm-hmm.
They had the lower prices because some people had stopped buying tickets because Caitlin Clark was hurt. But this morning I saw where she came out early and signed autographs for all those kids in that Chicago stadium. And then her and some of the other players, after the game was over, came back out and from both teams and was signing stuff. Well, they were signing autographs for everybody, but mainly for the kids.
Right.
We're trying to encourage kids to come to the games. And that's
right.
And it's awesome to watch the little girls and boys out there screaming for those women basketball players.
I'm still planning on hope. I'm hopefully going to go to a game. It just depends on the prices.
Yeah.
If I need to check on them now, but the prices were a little high at the beginning of the season. Hopefully it's calmed down for it's just Golden State and Chicago, but I want to see Kate Martin. I want to see Chicago. I like to see Van Lith, and even though she only plays a couple of minutes a game, but
she played more. She played some last night.
But yeah, Angel Reese. She's a beast under the basket.
She's a rebounding maniac.
Yeah, so
can't shoot, but she's a rebound.
No touch, but they call it me bounds now for her.
Yeah.
Me bounds instead of rebounds. Me bounds. So, what you got for us there? Let's get back on the baseball.
Well,
hey guys, this is just like me and him on the phone. We get to talk.
This is called. We're talking baseball, and we talk baseball 95% of the time.
Right.
But there are other sports that I really enjoy.
Me too. Yeah.
And so I talk about them all.
My phone was going off all day, even though I was out of town all day yesterday.
And I'm going to go through everything, and then you had a rant the last 2 weeks. I got a short rant this week.
That's fine. Yeah.
Corbin Burns, the Arizona Diamondbacks and the Texas Rangers were two teams. I figured Arizona was going to make a run at the Dodgers maybe this year, and I thought Texas was going to win the West, and I picked them to come out of the American League because I figured they'd give everybody back. Mm-hmm. But Texas can't hit. They can't score runs.
Right.
And they're just not – even with DeGrom coming back and pitching well last night, unless they turn something around or make a trade or something at the trade deadline, I don't think they're going to make it. And Arizona's pretty much done. Corbin Burns went on the IL last week with his right elbow, and
that was
Tommy John surgery.
Did you see when he knew? Did you see when the coach came out and talked to him? And he said, "My arm is dead."
Yeah,
I almost started crying with him. I was like, "Oh no!"
Yeah, he
knew. I was like, "Oh."
Yeah, it's you can tell. I saw the highlight when he came out of the game. Mm-hmm. You can tell it's a young guard for no young guard. She's been in the league 15 years, and she was with Chicago, went to New York, won a championship, came back to Chicago this year and was their point guard. And she went down last night, tore her knee up.
Oh, okay, that's right. Well, Van Lith was playing.
You see this happen, it just breaks your heart because I've had knee surgeries on both knees. I know how it hurts. I know how much it hurts, and that just made me feel bad. And I feel bad for Burns because he's not only a good pitcher, he's a pretty good guy.
Right. He took less money to play at home.
He wanted to play at home.
Right. And as much as the MLB Players Union hates that, and I'm sure he heard about it, and he did what he wanted to do, what was best for him and his family. So you got to appreciate that. So
and now you'll have to bear with me because this week I was kind of busy. So
yeah, that's fine.
And I was kind of tired, not only having the thing at church, but also the air conditioning problems. But anyway, I do have some stuff, and it's because I follow the sport. The Yankees lost another pitcher. They lost reliever Luke Weaver, He's on the IL with a hamstring strain. And and they're hoping he'll be back in a couple of weeks.
Hamstrings.
The Nationals, we were talking about the Nationals. They traded Juan Soto to the San Diego Padres. Now, he's with the Mets. He went to the Yankees, then he went to the Mets. The Nationals, this is who is playing for them right now, from who they got from the Padres. C.J. Abrams at shortstop, their leadoff hitter. Mackenzie Gore, in talk of Cy Young in the National League. Robert Hassel III, who they called up 2 weeks ago when what's his name got hurt, and he's playing really well. They also got Jarlin Susanna, who is a number 2 prospect, who they think will be called up maybe before this year's out, or at least will be on the big team next year. Oh, yeah, and they also got James Wood. Now, they picked up some veteran that didn't last long, but, I mean, that's the starting team almost. They got that from San Diego for Soto, who's no longer with San Diego. Give credit to San Diego. They're still playing real well.
Yeah.
And we'll talk about San Diego in a minute. They have one of the dirtiest players ever to play the game is on the team. Now, in Boston, Patrick Sandoval, starting pitcher, he's out with a bad elbow. Detroit, their starting pitcher, Jackson Jobe, that young pitcher that they called up last year, he's out with a bad elbow. Here's something that broke my heart. The coach for the University of Virginia is leaving to go to Mississippi State.
Yeah.
I don't guess, I mean, Miami is playing Louisville right now in a super regional, and the winner of the game today is going to go to the World Series. Virginia didn't make it into the World Series, into the playoffs. Didn't make it. They usually go every year.
Right.
At the end of the year, they swept Miami 3-0.
Yep.
So, I mean, I'm going okay. But anyway, he's going to Mississippi State.
That was a hard pill to swallow because I don't know what Mississippi State's offered him, but they have not done anything comparable to what Virginia has done.
Well, here's the thing, son. Some of these coaches, they stay at a place long like that, longer, and it's like it gets stale, it gets old. It's so I don't know. I'm not sure whether that's it or that Virginia, their NIL stuff and transfer portal stuff. Virginia can't draw like some of the big schools.
Well, they actually got 5 pitchers this year.
Yeah,
2 of them.
But
they actually do well in baseball because that NIL money doesn't really transfer.
Well, he
not like basketball.
He must have been offered quite a bit of money. I mean,
yeah. I know they have the backing. Virginia just doesn't have the boosters like Mississippi State.
Well, Mississippi State also, they've had, what was it? It was Thunder and Lightning played for Mississippi State back 20 years, 25, 30 years ago in the World Series.
I thought that was Arizona State.
Was it Arizona? I thought it was Mississippi State. But anyway, that's anyway.
Yeah.
My boy got called up yesterday by the Atlanta Braves. Craig Kimbrell. You can tell how bad Atlanta's going, Gabe. That if you're calling up Craig Kimbrell, you are hurting. I don't have anything against him, but he's done. He pitched for the Orioles, and he was just throwing batting practice. But anyway, Detroit. Tarek Skubal. He is the first pitcher in at least 125 years to be in his first 11 starts this year to have 95 strikeouts and 3 walks. No pitcher's ever done that in 11 starts. 95 strikeouts and 3 walks. That is unbelievable.
You need to be swinging because he gets it around the plate.
Yeah. Philadelphia was rolling, and now and Bryce Harper yesterday went on IL, and it's his wrist.
Okay.
But the way I saw it on MLB this morning, I don't even know if it's the same wrist that got hit by the pitch,
Well, that he got hit in the elbow by the pitch.
Well, this wrist apparently has been bothering him for a while, months. So he got hit in the elbow. Okay, so I thought he got hit in the wrist. But anyway, that wrist has been bothering him for a long time, and it's just getting worse. So he's going on the IL. Hopefully he won't have to have surgery. The Red Sox, the number one prospect in the minor leagues is an outfielder, 21 years old, named Roman Anthony. And last night, he had a grand slam home run measured at 497 feet. Yeah. And I mean, if you see this dude, he is a horse. Mm-hmm. That is a big guy. Well, I mean,
the Royals called up somebody this week. That's one of the top prospects too. Yeah. I don't know if he's on your list or not, but
no, he's not on my list. No.
So here, this guy in the minor league. So on MLB, they've been because there's been a lot of call ups. So on YouTube, they've been showing like video of these kids getting called up, and actually they had to pull the kid out for the Royals. He was playing in Tacoma, I think. He was in the game. They pulled him out. His coach came over and asked him how he felt. And he goes, great. And he goes, are you feeling good enough to go to Seattle? Like during the game. And but the night before, he hit a dribbler for a game-winning hit. And his first night with the Mariners, he hits a dribbler in the infield for a game-winning hit. So, I mean, these kids are getting, it's great to see. I keep saying it. We're we're watching something special here. I'm hoping 40 years from now there'll be something to call this era of baseball. I don't know. Boomers, little kids, I don't know, but it's awesome.
Pittsburgh, the Pirates, Andy Rodriguez, the starting pitcher, went on the IL with an elbow. Oh, the Dodgers put another pitcher on the IL. Yes, Tony Gonsolin is going back to the IL with a shoulder problem. So, I mean, they just can't keep pitchers healthy.
And I've talked about this before in the offseason. It's either their conditioning program or their pitching coach. Them and the Orioles, like, I don't know what's going on in those two organizations, but they hurt some pitchers. And I don't know if it's just bad luck or we pay attention to them more now.
Up in the water.
Yeah, I don't know, but it just seems like
it. That you're talking about the AUSL that started yesterday. That girls that's being sponsored by MLB, the women's softball. Mm-hmm. It took place in Rosemont, Illinois, and Wichita, Kansas.
Yeah, that stadium. So I'm going to Rosemont here in a few weeks. That stadium's not too far from where we're going to be at. That is a beautiful facility. They played pro softball. That facility is for softball. They played years ago, a few years back, they tried a small pro, and it just didn't take off. But it's a beautiful facility there. I've seen it. Really nice.
And both places were sold out.
Yeah. So, awesome.
And while we're talking, this is where my little rant comes in. We're talking about women's softball. Texas played Texas Tech in the finals. Best 2 out of 3. Texas Tech won the second game, and they could have won the first game, but the girl was trying to walk. It looked like she was going to try to walk the Texas play. They were winning 1-0 in the bottom of the 7th. It looked like she was trying to walk the Texas player with a man on first, and the girl hit a home run and won the game 2-1. So the next night she pitches again. She's the number one pitcher in the country in NCAA softball, All-American. And she pitches again the next night, and they won. They come out the third game. This coach for Texas Tech pitches her again. 3 days in a row.
I thought they played the second game right after or that afternoon, later that evening.
It's the same girl 3 games in a row.
Right.
I mean, I don't care if you walked up to her and said, "Can you go?" and she says yes. If the players can run the team, we don't need coaches and managers. Yeah. You have gotten this young lady's safety has got to come into play somewhere.
But the shoulder for your shoulder is work to throw underhanded. Actually, overhand, it's not.
Yeah,
right.
I mean,
listen, I get what you're saying, and I agree. But this has been the thought process in women's softball for years. They'll pitch the same. They'll have other girls that pitch, other women that'll pitch. But, in these big games, they'll throw the same woman out there. I know the coach for Texas Tech was pissed because she said it's not in baseball. They wouldn't play. They play the next day, not that later.
Well, the thing is that they lost first game 2-1. They won the second game 1-0. He pitched the same girl again. I turned it off when it was 10-0.
Right.
So
I
had to have somebody else.
Right. I 100% agree with you, but I'm just telling you what the thought process.
I know. I saw World Series, College World Series, softball World Series several years ago where Virginia Tech went deep and they pitched the same girl just about every game.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's been done before, but this was so back to back to back.
Yeah. I mean, most of the time you'll watch a tournament and the same girl will pitch every game.
It's just unbelievable. Anyway, the standings. Ain't much to talk about because most of them are one side. I mean, in the American League, the New York Yankees have a 4.5 game lead over the Toronto Blue Jays. Detroit has a 7 game lead over Minnesota.
Yeah, I think that, though, and I want to talk about that for a second because that sounds huge until you look at the win-loss record. And reason why it's 7 games is not because the other teams are bad. It's just they've won a lot more games. And there's 3 teams or 4 teams over 500 in that division.
Right. Kansas City's 1 game over 500.
Right. So you got the Guardians sitting there in second, 7 games back, and it would be the first, I think, in 3 other divisions. So it's like
the Guardians just lost 2 out of 3 to the Yankees. What a shot!
Right. Yeah.
And then they lost to Houston.
Right.
So anyway, in Houston, how do they do this? I don't know. It's like Tampa. Houston is leading the West, the American League West, by 3.5 games over the Seattle Chargers. The New York Mets have a 3.5 game lead over the Phils. The Cubs are 4 games up on the Cards, and the lackadaisical Dodgers are 1 game up on both San Diego and San Francisco.
And San Diego Dodgers start a 3-game series Tuesday.
Right.
If that's not on national TV every night.
Well, it'll be on national TV, but I'll be in bed because it won't start till 10 o'clock.
Well, that's true. I didn't get to watch any of the Mets series because they were on so late.
But this, the standings, the teams leading the divisions are in pretty good shape as far as having leads right now. There's no need to talk about wild card or anything else until much later in the season. Yeah. Also, these standings and the way things are is going to make it very interesting at the trade deadline about who's going to sell.
Well, the Giants, again, I've been harping. They're 1 game back, too. They're tied with San Diego when I looked this morning. So I'm telling you, they probably have the most money in the coffers to make moves.
They got money to buy free agents, but the trade deadline is trades. That has nothing to do with it.
Yes, but if they need to take on a big contract, say somebody
they can, yeah.
Right. If somebody wants to get rid of a player with a big contract that's in their last year or so, they have the room to do it, and they don't have to give up big money. They don't have to trade contracts, and they could take the contract. And a lot of teams that helps in trades. So where the other team doesn't have to eat part of the contract.
Yeah.
That's why I bring it up.
Yeah, well, San Francisco's got plenty of bucks because they tried to sign free agents and only got 1.
Right.
But
they lost a couple of players too.
Yeah, so. and they have a decent pitching staff. And I'm going to tell you right now,
Logan Webb is one of the most underrated under the pitchers that nobody talks about.
And they got a guy having a heck of a year, but you hear don't hear a whole lot about him because he's not Shohei Ohtani or Aaron Judge, and that's Chapman, the third.
Yeah.
The other guy, he's also old man. Another walk-off hit. That's his sixth walk-off hit for the year.
Right. And
some guys don't have 6 walk-off hits in a career.
And I'm surprised you didn't. I'm going to say he's your favorite player is Cal Raleigh, first player to 25 home runs. So, he's doing something special. He might set a catcher home run record this year. So
yeah, he's just outstanding. He's the best catcher in baseball. And I can't remember the young man's name, center fielder for the Cardinals. But a few weeks ago, I said that Williams, the center fielder for Atlanta, they showed a highlight reel of his catches for the week, and he's the best center fielder I've seen in the majors this year. There's a lot of good ones, but then on MLB the other day, they said they rated the kid in St. Louis higher than him.
Is that Scott the third?
It might be. I'm not sure because I haven't seen that many St. Louis games.
I believe that's who it is because he robbed the young boy from to do for the Royals. He crushed one into the gap, and he robbed him. Just straight up robbed. I mean, he just stole it from him, and I was like, "Oh my goodness, it was a rocket." But I guess he does that all the time. So
yeah. Yeah, the big news in baseball, like any sport now, is who's hurt and who's healthy.
Right.
Because in any sport, if you're with a team, any team sport, or any sport, injuries are key. It's who's the healthiest at the end of the year that pays off. And so watching these injuries like to Bryce Harper and people like that, I mean,
and it's also who. The reason I keep bringing up these minor leaguers is because this is the time of year when you get into dog days, you're going to have to call up some of these guys, and they have to make an impact.
They have to produce.
Right. So some way, somehow. So that's why these guys are down on the farm, and then the next day and a lot of times the way they usually do it to get you acclimated is you come into the clubhouse, they get you fitted up, and you're playing that day.
Yeah.
You're not watching. But the reason why you're called up. And
the baby shark is the first base coach for Washington.
Yeah.
They called him. They brought him in when they made that big run with those 2 bullpen guys and won the whole thing in 2019. So he's a first base coach.
Power, right?
Somebody asked him the other day. He asked him the other day after a game. They won a game. And they asked him, "Your team is so young. How young are they?" And he said only 5 of them shave.
Yeah, and they're not having a bad season.
They're third. They're in third. They're 1 or 2 games under 500, and they're third place in the National League East. I mean, they're 10 games out, but they're third place.
And they got some good kids on the farm too. I mean, it's.
Oh, and the other thing is too. Now Vegas, they lay the odds for the draft.
Mm-hmm.
And now the odds are that Washington's not going to draft Holiday as their first round draft. They're going to take the pitcher from LSU, the one they thought was going to go second.
Yeah, well, that might be true. A lot of money's been placed one way or the other.
Yeah. I know that. But I mean, that's he's the new favorite. Although, I mean, pitching rules. Let's face it. But
yeah, I mean, we talk about that. I mean, pitching is.
I still think they're going to take Holiday because they could. They're going to need a second baseman and a third baseman down the road. If they want to leave Abrams at shortstop, they're playing third base by committee, and their second baseman's very good, but he's in his 30s. So they're going to need a third baseman and a second baseman down the road. So if it was me, I'd take the Holiday kid. I mean, no question.
Well, I don't know. If it's up in the air and it's a coin flip, I'm going pitcher.
Yeah, you take the pitcher first.
I'm taking the pitcher. It's because now they don't use them up in college like they used to. So even a college pitcher, if you can put him in the minors the first year and just let him throw a few innings every night because he's already had a season. So they didn't wait for next year. Put him on a pitch count, like to do the rest of them in the minors and go with that. But that's me. But I also do factory work Monday through Friday, so I'm not a GM.
I did too for 42 years.
Who's the dirtiest player in the Padres?
All right, I'm going to just say this.
I know who used to be, but I thought he was turned his. Go.
I haven't seen him do something like this in a few years. Manny Machado, when he was with the Orioles,
yeah,
he would step on people
He did that with the Dodgers too.
Smack people. He did it with the Dodgers. The other day, guys on first, he's running to first base. Guy's got his foot on the side of the bag, just like he's supposed to. First baseman catches the ball. Machado runs inside and kicks his leg off the bag. And, of course, the guy's limping around over there.
Yeah.
I said, well, I haven't seen him do that in a long time, but that's typical. He used to do that all the time.
Yeah.
And I thought he'd outgrown it.
I thought he grew up. I haven't seen that.
Yeah, well, he did it. He did it. I saw it. I saw it 3 times.
I'm sure he's frustrated. I don't know why he's frustrated. I mean, they're one game.
Well, he was in a slump.
Oh, okay.
And fans were booing him because
he doesn't take negativity too well from anywhere. He's always been that way. But hopefully MLB did something about it.
I don't know. I haven't seen anything about it, but he made it look like it was an accident. But there was no reason for him to hit the guy's leg. The guy wasn't on the bag. He was on the edge of the side of the bag.
Yeah, I've always thought anyway, for safety reasons, they ought to have the orange bag there. Why not have the orange bag there? I mean, you know what I'm talking about? The orange bag in foul territory.
The orange bag in foul territory, yeah.
Yeah, I just...
They have that in college and the women's softball.
Yeah, they have it in a lot of men's leagues and stuff like that. I like it. Just cuts that out. But with the bigger bag, they shouldn't have that issue either.
Well, if he'd have stepped on the outside of the bag, he wouldn't have come anywhere near the guy's leg.
Yeah.
I mean, he's hit the bag, but he made sure he was on.
I played first a lot. I've only got stepped on one time, and that was after we had a bench clean brawl my senior year. So that was the only time on the third out of a game. So to do stuff, I was so jacked up on adrenaline, I didn't care. So, but anyway, and that's high school. You shouldn't have to worry about that as a pro. Pro guys. They should be looking out for each other. It's a business. So, but anyway, anything else for us today, Dad, before we take off?
No, I don't have anything else. Just my yogiism for the day is that he said, if you can't imitate him, don't copy. He was talking to Ron. He was with the Mets, and he was managing the Mets, and Ron Swoboda, who was a decent player.
Yeah, it was a good player. Yep.
Said he was in the batting cage, and he said, I'm going to get up close to the plate because I want to hit like Frank Robinson. And Yogi told him, if you can't imitate him, don't copy him because you sure ain't Frank Robinson.
Right.
I mean, he didn't tell him that, but that's what he meant.
That's a historical guy that's very overlooked in the baseball. Don't get talked about as one of the greats.
Yeah, Frank Robinson was MVP in 2 different leagues.
Yeah, batting champion, 2 different
batting
leagues.
champion in 2 different leagues.
I think in the same year.
He was the first. He was the first African American manager.
Yeah.
So I mean, he was groundbreaking and a tremendous player.
Tremendous player. Well, Dan, that's going to be it for us today. Still early in the season. If your team's not doing well,
we're not nowhere near the halfway mark. Yeah. We're just in June.
Unless you're a Colorado or White Sox fan.
And the White Sox have won 3 in a row.
Yeah, they might wake up. Who knows? Interim coach, who knows? But if you're a Rockies fan, you're going to get the first pick next year. So that's something to look forward to. So until next time, like, share, give us a comment if you don't mind. Subscribe if you haven't. And until next time, see ya.